What is up, guys? This is JD Rich coming back at you again with another One Piece video and discussion. I just want to briefly go over the One Piece 1161 spoilers. I think they're not fully out yet, but some have apparently dropped about what's actually going on. So my last spoiler video, those were rumored leaks about what could possibly happen and what was allegedly going to happen as far as where people were as far as what was taking place currently in the story going into the next chapter, obviously, right? But I heard those leaks from all over YouTube, so I just wanted to talk about them, get, you know what I'm saying, just raise awareness and get your guys' opinion on the possibility of these things actually happening. But the new spoilers, the actual spoilers, have actually come to fruition and dropped. So we're going to be talking about them today. So let's start off with Dragon, because it says the chapter starts off with Dragon as he's in you know what I'm saying, he's basically running away with Shanks and Shamrock, you know, but apparently he actually ends up running into a Holy Knight. Like, Dragon apparently gets into a skirmish with a Holy Knight where he almost gets killed. And it's said that the specific Holy Knight that he ran into was actually the woman with the fangs and the black and white hair that we saw. And, you know, of all Holy Knights to run into, I mean, I don't think it was good for him to run into any of the knights back then, really, obviously, right? As far as like a rookie 17-year-old Dragon. Because people keep downplaying him, but it's like, this guy is 17. He doesn't even have his double fruit. He's simply a regular Marine cadet at this time. Now, he ran into a Holy Knight, a Knight of God, if you will. So one of these Knights of Gods that he ran into was the woman with the fangs and the black and white hair, who we don't know nothing about yet, because Oda has yet to introduce us formally to them in their title boxes. But of all God's Knights, you run into that one, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I guess that's better than running into Garling himself. Because think about this. He ran into a Holy Knight. What if off the off chance he ran into like another Holy Knight, specifically Garling? Like, what if this man ran into Garling holding his babies? Oh, you know what I'm saying? Dragon, he's not dead, but I'm just saying he more than likely would have been if he ran into Garling holding Garling's babies. I'm not even saying that Garling has any sentimental value to the children, but I would assume he looks at them as his male heirs. So, you know, I think it could have been worse. But yeah, I think it could have been worse for Dragon, because he didn't run into Garling. He ran into a Holy Knight, so it's still bad, you know. He could have ran, like, anyone excluding Garling, he could have ran into, and it still would have been bad for Dragon, as it shows that it is in this chapter for what we're about to get into. But if Dragon ran into Garling instead of this woman, I think it would have been, he probably would have got slaughtered. But then again, if he did die running into Garling, I know Garp would flip out. I know Garp would just go absolutely crazy. So, you know, luckily that didn't happen. But unfortunately, Roger did run into a Holy Knight, and this woman, it says that this woman can actually shoot beams. Like, it says she can shoot beams. I don't know if they're coming out her eyes or her hands or whatever, but apparently she can shoot beams. That's one reveal of her abilities. Now, when I instantly thought about that, shooting beams, I went to the thought of the pacifistas, and you know how they raise their hands and they're basically shooting beams out of their paws and whatnot in their hands. I instantly thought of that. I was like, man, wow. So could they have modeled the pacifista beam shooting after her powers? We don't know, but still, it's just got me curious as to what kind of beams that, like, because they could be regular beams, the same as the pacifista, maybe more powerful considering she's a God's Knight. But what if they are different beams? Because they more than likely will be. But this woman is shooting beams at Dragon, and she actually gets him. I'm not sure if it's with a beam or just the how can I say, the damage after shooting the beams. Like, she shoots near Dragon and the explosions that are taking place around him knock him off course and whatnot, because apparently Dragon actually dropped the twins. Dragon ends up dropping the twins during this violent exchange between him and this Holy Knight woman. So Because the next spoiler, as Dragon drops the twins, he actually recovered Shanks. And Shanks fell on his head, like on some Goku stuff. You know, when Goku fell down in that ravine, if you've seen Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball in general, you know what I'm talking about. Goku hit his head, lost his memory. So Shanks did, and who knows? I'm not saying Shanks lost his memory in the story, but as a baby, did hitting Shanks' head cause any type of damage to him? Like, is he bleeding as a baby, or is he kind of frazzled at the moment? I would assume so. But he's a baby, though. He's still coming into his cognitive development, his hand motor skills, stuff like that. Now, Dragon drops the twins. He ends up dropping them. Shanks is recovered by Dragon. Shamrock is recovered by this woman. And the thing is, they both end up going their own way. But before that even happens, as this woman is actually cornering Dragon, and she's like putting a beating on him or whatnot, because like it seems as though she was actually about to kill Dragon, but Dragon ends up getting saved on complete accident. He accidentally ends up getting saved by the actions of Whitebeard. So Whitebeard ends up I guess pulling off one of his Quake abilities of some sort, and I guess that interrupts the interaction between Dragon and this woman, that actually ends up saving Dragon's life. So W for Whitebeard, man. You saved Garp's son and you didn't know it, even if you unintentionally did it and still didn't know it. You saved Garp's son, which is actually a big W. I count that as a big W for Whitebeard. Now, Whitebeard accidentally ends up saving Dragon, and this woman, and this is what leads to Shanks and Shamrock, I believe, getting dropped by Dragon because of the ability of the Quake. So Shanks and Shamrock, they end up separated. Dragon only had time to pick up Shanks, and he picked him up. That might have been by chance, you know what I'm saying? Because this is fate. This is literally fate right now. I guess them splitting up and Dragon only picking up Shanks. I think fate has a lot to tie into this. The twins are getting separated. So Shamrock gets taken by this other woman, you know, boom, they both head their separate ways. Later on in the chapter, we actually get spoilered that there's a mutiny. There's a mutiny going on. A lot of the fodder of the Rock's pirates end up turning on Rocks. Either they're trying to kill him or they just decide to go after and do their own thing. But either way, there is a active mutiny taking place. And the people who put this mutiny in check happen to be the 4 current original Yonko that we saw pre-time skip. Kaido, Big Mom, I know Shanks is the original, but 3, let me rephrase that. 3 of the original Yonko that we know during the pre-time skip are actually the same ones who ended up banding together to defuse this mutiny. So you got Charlotte Linlin, Kaido, and Whitebeard working together, fighting off the mutiners. The mutinees. I said mutiners, but still. The mutiny comes to an uprising and quickly gets shut down by these 3. But then Garp actually charges in on the scene. Garp tries to attack all 3 of them in some simultaneous way. You know, and imagining Garp, that's not too far-fetched from him to do, right? Of course. So you got Garp charging in, about to attack these 3. And then Big Mom steps up to fight him, and she uses a fire technique, I guess using Prometheus, to basically hit Garp. And it doesn't even work. It doesn't even work. They say Garp just tanks it. Garp, that's nothing to Garp. Pirate, after all, we've seen this man, commit an attack called Pirate Fireballs. You think hitting him with a ball of fire is really gonna hurt, Big Mom? Come on, Linlin, baby. You have Conqueror's Haki. Now maybe if you put some Conqueror's Haki around that ball of fire, you could have knocked Garp back. I'm not even saying you could have fully damaged him or anything. And if any damage you would have done with him if you used your Conqueror's Haki, it still would have been slight damage, but not enough to take out Garp or nothing like that. You're not doing that. It's Garp. Come on now. So she tries to hit him with a fire technique or a fireball of some sort. Garp tanks it. And then they all 3, Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard, they all 3 end up running away. they all like end up splitting up because they really don't have time to fight Garp with everything that's at stake with them plundering this island. They're here for the main goal of saving Shaki, getting their treasure and whatever other goods they can get, whether it's devil fruits or more treasure or whatever. They're here to cash out. They're basically here for a shopping spree of chaos, and they can't really afford the damage that Garp comes with trying to fight him and then complete their mission. Rightfully so. So I guess they take off running. Now, it pans over to the next spoiler, which is Shaki actually getting free. Shaki gets free. She escapes on her own accord, on her own actions. But then Samar steps in, and he notices this because, you know, Samar wanted to make Shaki his slave. Garling wanted to make Shaki his wife. But Samar, seeing this, I know this fires him up. So he tries to basically attack Shaki, only for Rayleigh to end up popping into the mix and stopping him. He stops him with a powerful attack too. Like I know this. I know for a fact Rayleigh used Conquerors in this attack. Like, come on now. There's no way. A regular sword slash just wouldn't cut it. So Rayleigh obviously took out his sword, used the Conqueror's ability, combined with his sword, and stopped Samars. And he was actually assisted by Roger in doing so, because Roger actually ends up coming to fight Whitebeard, you know. And what's crazy to me is this: when I read this spoiler, I'm like, wait a minute, so y'all ran away from Garp, but then you still ended up y'all all three, Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, they ran away from Garp, but then Whitebeard ends up fighting Roger. Not that, and it's not that, like, I could see why they would run away from Garp. He's a Marine and they don't have time to fight such a high caliber Marine when they're here to do their criminal activity. But you run into another criminal, another pirate, and now you're ready to mix it up. You ready to fight Roger now? I don't know how this plays out, but yeah, but Whitebeard and Roger end up getting into it and coming to clashing. And as they're doing that, Roger evidently frees up a path for Rayleigh to go and just go save Shaki, and he does that because after all, I see why Whitebeard would fight, right? Why Whitebeard, I'm tongue twisted. Why Whitebeard would fight Roger, because they are both essentially here to save Shaki, and Roger is making the sacrifice to stop Whitebeard and basically create an opening for Rayleigh to go, hey man, go save your girl. So that's kudos to Roger. That's a bro moment for Roger, man. That's a right there, man. I gotta give it to Roger. I love that. So it does come together in its own way. Now, Rayleigh ends up saving Shaki, and then later on in the chapter, as we can see, Roger ends up fighting Whitebeard. You know, not that we can see that, but in the spoilers, Roger ends up fighting Whitebeard, and then on top of that, you got you still got the matter of Garp, you know what I'm saying, pursuing everybody else, the major members. So these spoilers have been kind of tweaked out, man. These spoilers have been amazing. These are the official spoilers that are out, you know, the official spoilers that are actually out there. So, oh, and it's also said that Gabon and Roger both actually cried or whatever. They cried of, like, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't say humiliation, but of like jealousy for Rayleigh, but at the same time, they know they root for their bro deep down. So I guess you can call it like friendly jealousy in a way, if that's a thing at all, you know. But yeah, man, this chapter, so far, these spoilers are actually looking good. These spoilers are really looking good. I'm trying to think of what else happened, because that's as far as I got so far. I know there was something else. There may have been something else. Oh, yeah. At the end, you got the Rocks Pirates and the Roger Pirates meeting at the center of God Valley in God Valley City or whatever. So I think they're actually I think both groups actually both groups incidentally end up, or by fate, at the center of the island inside the Coliseum of where the rabbit hunting contest is taking place. So both of these factions end up showing up right here, and it's a face-off. Only thing missing is Garp's squad, because I want to see Bogart in action. We've been long overdue for Bogart, and really Garp himself, for seeing his fighting style and moves. We know he uses fists, but his attacks and all that, you know. So, and I also think that we may still see Roger's new attack, because in the rumored spoilers that were leaking out, it said that Roger used an attack on rocks called Celestial Judgment. So Celestial Judgment, we may still see that. It may even be called a different name, I don't know. Or it may actually be called Celestial Judgment, and then, you know, Roger may still use it. But yeah, that's basically the rundown on the official spoilers that have leaked out. But we still are going to discuss full spoilers when they finally come out, and I think they should come out later on tonight. We'll probably be back with another upload, more than likely. You know, I took a small 7-day hiatus because of my crazy work schedule. I got to be more dedicated to uploading, but I'm glad I was able to be here, join you guys, discuss the story and whatnot, and just bring you some quality content. You know, I hope you enjoyed it. If you don't, hey, no harm, no foul. And if you want to, man, you can like, share, and subscribe, because that helps me grow, and I want to help you guys grow as well as a community. So thank you for tuning in if you tuned in. Thank you for listening, and that's all I got for now. I will be back when the full spoilers get released, so we have a lot to uncover and cook off then. The setup for these fights is really going good. I can't, like, when we see the panels drawn, I think our jaws are gonna still drop. This whole arc is going to drop our jaws and probably break our damn bones or whatever. Who knows? But that's all I got for you this time. This is JD Rich coming back at you again. A piece of life is life in one piece. Peace.